Bonsoir tout le monde. Thank you. Without further ado, I'll give the floor to Michel BARNIER, European Commission Chief Brexit Negotiator. And should we announce already that tomorrow at 11 o'clock we'll be able to offer a technical briefing for accredited journalists on the draft withdrawal agreement and the legal text before our midday at 12. Michel, tu as la parole.
Merci.
Thank you, and good evening to each and every one of you. This evening we've just published, with the Government of the United Kingdom, a full draft agreement on the orderly withdrawal of the United Kingdom as agreed by the negotiators on both sides. We're also, together, publishing a commented plan of the joint political declaration on the framework for our future relationship. And all that is the result of intense negotiations, very intense negotiations, which started 17 months ago. And I would like to thank our two teams, the UK team and the team that has been working to me, for their commitment and their hard work. And personally, I would like to say that it's been an honour and a privilege to have been part of a quite exceptional team here. Now, this agreement is a decisive, a crucial step in concluding these negotiations. It's also the achievement of a methodology, which has been negotiation carried out in transparency from the word go and fully in the respect of our respective mandates. Now, this draft withdrawal agreement, ladies and gentlemen, includes 185 articles, 3 protocols, and a series of annexes. This is the draft in my hand here, the draft agreement between the United Kingdom and the European Union. There's no more colours in here, you'll notice. There are no more bits in green and the way they were before. And white is the new green, so to speak. And I certainly hope that each and every one of you will take some time to read calmly and closely, to read the whole of the text. This is a very specific and very detailed document, as you would expect from an international agreement at such an exceptional time in bringing legal certainty to all those, and there are very many of them, to all those people and on all the subjects where we have to manage the consequences of Brexit. And I'd like just to mention 5 of those particular areas. First of all, citizens' rights. Citizen rights have always been our common priority. Of course, the priority of the European Parliament and of member states as well. European citizens who live in the United Kingdom, but also citizens of the United Kingdom who live in a country of the Union and established there before the end of the transition period will be able to continue to live their lives as before in their country of residence. They will be able to continue to live in their country of residence, to study there, to work there, to receive benefits there, or to be joined by their families there throughout their lifetime. And then there's the financial settlement. We've agreed that the financial commitments entered into amongst the 28 be respected amongst the 28. All those financial commitments. Together, we wanted to reassure all those who have projects, the regions, supported by the European budget in the Union and, of course, in the United Kingdom. And my third point, there are many other subjects, of course, on which we have had to reach an agreement and on which we have reached solutions to organise in each sector this orderly withdrawal. For example, those questions related to Euratom. For example, the protection of intellectual property, existing intellectual property rights, the 3,000 geographical indications, or some 1 million trademarks, drawings, or community models. And then, of course, there is the use of and the protection of personal data exchanged before the end of the transition period. But one fourth major area where I think we found a good solution is the governance of the withdrawal agreement. It is important for us, and it is important for the United Kingdom that this agreement be well implemented. It's all about the credibility of the agreement itself. Like for any international agreement, this draft agreement creates a framework with a first stage of political resolution for disputes, and if there is persistent disagreement, the resolution of those conflicts by an arbitration panel, and where the disagreement concerns interpretation of the Union law, and the European Union law appears everywhere in the agreement, the Court of Justice of the European Union will continue to play its role. And then, fifth point, we've agreed on a transition period. The United Kingdom will leave the European Union as the United Kingdom wished and leave all the institutions on the 29th of March 2019. But for a period of 21 months, from the 30th of March to the 31st of December 2020, we have agreed to preserve the current situation with respect to the internal market, with respect to the customs union, and with respect to European policies and all the rights and obligations that go along with that. This will enable the citizens, but also administrations and, of course, business, and in particular small and medium-sized undertakings, to prepare and to adapt, but to adapt just the once to a change before the implementation of the future relationship. We also have the possibility of extending this once for a limited period by joint agreement. Ladies and gentlemen, our agreement also includes 3 protocols. One of those protocols is on Gibraltar. That creates the basis for administrative cooperation on a series of subjects: the rights of citizens, taxation, tobacco, the environment, fisheries, but also police and customs cooperation. The Gibraltar Protocol is part of a broader package of bilateral agreements between Spain and the United Kingdom, which relate to Gibraltar. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the 2 governments for that bilateral work. The second protocol relates to Cyprus and the sovereign bases in Cyprus. This enables the continuity of existing agreements in and around these bases between Cyprus and the United Kingdom, in particular to enable the 11,000 Cypriot citizens established on territories under British sovereignty to continue to live as they do today.
The third protocol concerns Ireland and Northern Ireland. We have now found a solution together with the UK to avoid a hard border on the island of Ireland. First, we will use our best endeavours to solve this issue for the long term through a future agreement. If we are not ready by July 2020, we could jointly consider extending the transition to provide for more time. Only if, at the end of the transition, extended or not, we are still not there with a future agreement, would the backstop solution that we agreed today kick in. This backstop solution has evolved considerably from the original EU proposal from February this year. Over the last few weeks, we have worked with the UK on the basis of their proposal. In the backstop scenario, we agreed to create a EU-UK single customs territory. Northern Ireland will therefore remain in this same customs territory as the rest of the UK. In addition, Northern Ireland would remain aligned to those rules of the single market that are essential for avoiding a hard border. This concerns agriculture goods as well as all products. The UK would apply the EU's customs code in Northern Ireland. It would allow Northern Irish businesses to bring goods in the single market without restrictions, which is essential to avoid a hard border. The text of the protocol also makes clear that the Northern Irish economy retains unfettered market access to the rest of the UK. At the UK's request, Northern Ireland will apply all the rules of the single market for electricity. Ladies and gentlemen, this is in the interest of the economy of Northern Ireland and Ireland. This single EU-UK customs territory would mean that UK goods get tariffs and quota-free access to the EU27 market. For competition to be open and fair in such a single customs territory, we had agreed provisions on state aid, competition, taxation, social and environmental standards. This will guarantee that both EU and UK manufacturing will compete on a level playing field. An essential condition for the single customs territory to cover fisheries and aquaculture products will be to agree between the Union and the UK on access to waters and fishing opportunities. Overall, this backstop shows that we have been able to find common ground and meet our common objectives. Number one, to protect the Good Friday Agreement in all its dimensions, North-South cooperation and the whole Ireland economy. Number two, to preserve the integrity of the EU single market and Ireland's place in it. Three, to respect the UK's territorial integrity and constitutional order. Four, to protect the common travel area between Ireland and the UK. Finally, let me repeat that this backstop is not meant to be used. Our objective remains to reach the new agreement between the UE and the UK before the end of the transition. Et précisément, mesdames et messieurs, mon dernier point.
And this leads me to my final point, which relates to the framework for the future relationship, which is part of this sort of annotated outline, which we're publishing at the same time. We're preparing, and we will be ready to start that negotiation the very day after the United Kingdom withdraws from the European Union on the 30th of March 2019. Now, what we have today is an outline of a political statement, and we're drawing the basis for an ambitious partnership which we want, which is a free trade area based on regulatory and customs cooperation in depth and with a level playing field. Our objective is to abolish customs duties and quotas for all goods based on what we're proposing in the withdrawal agreement, a single customs territory. Of course, as the European Council gave me a mandate, that will be the condition of a new agreement on fisheries will apply. Then there will be sectoral agreements which are needed and expected in transport and energy. Third, cooperation on internal security, police and judicial cooperation, and of course, and this is an important point for the whole of Europe, in foreign policy and external security and defence. Of course, at this stage, as I said, it's an annotated outline, the basis of a plan. We're going to start working with the 27 member states, and I will start tomorrow with the European Parliament on this draft political declaration. The objective, of course, being with the United Kingdom to finalise the declaration in order to be able to present it to the European Council. Ladies and gentlemen, we, as you know, we've reached a crucial stage, an important moment in this extraordinary negotiation which we entered into at the request of the United Kingdom. There is still a lot of work. I know that the path is still long and may well be difficult to guarantee an orderly withdrawal, and beyond the orderly withdrawal, beyond the orderly separation, to build something, to build an ambitious and sustainable partnership with the United Kingdom. There is still work to be done here in this House, under the authority of the President, Jean-Claude Juncker, and with the College of Commissioners, and with all the Commission's departments, which I want to thank most personally for their work. And then over the road with the President Donald Tusk and his teams, the Austrian presidency, and all the different presidencies which have in the past and in the future, and the 27 governments who have always shown me their trust. And of course, not least, Mr. Tajani, the European Parliament, Mr. Verhofstadt, and all the members of the Brexit steering group who have always shown their trust in me and their vigilance, I must say. I have worked with my team and in the name of the European institutions, and I shall continue to work in precisely the same way, methodically and in the same respect, the same very great respect that I have for the United Kingdom. This negotiation has never been, in my mind, and never will be, one against the other. Never. I have always said that we're negotiating with the United Kingdom, not against the United Kingdom, and in the respect of their sovereign choice, the choice they made to leave the European Union. And tonight, as I said, it's a crucial step towards this orderly withdrawal. That step is a condition, the very basis for the trust which we need in negotiating a new partnership. The United Kingdom will remain our friend, our partner, and our ally. Theresa May this evening stated that we'd taken a decisive step. And tonight, within my own responsibilities as the negotiator for the European Union, I believe that we have made decisive progress.
Responsibility as the EU negotiator, I consider that we have achieved decisive progress. Je vous remercie pour votre attention.
Merci. We can now switch to your